Israel, Prime Minister, the Speaker of the Knesset, the Justice of the Supreme Court, the Head of Opposition, Ministers, MK, ladies and gentlemen. Very few are the minutes in the history of a nation where so much is at risk. Very few are the moments where the hearts of the entire nation beat together with one beat. Few are the minutes, but when they come, they also carry an extreme responsibility. I would like to speak in the beginning of the session of the Knesset, the symbol of the Israeli government, to our torn family. To that family we went yesterday when the smell of death is still in the air and blood is all over, under the pictures of the children and the grandchildren whose fate is unknown. I dedicate it to the bereaved families, within them the family of Ro'i, the brave combatant who was badly injured, and his parents asked me and my wife to stand by his bed in the hospital in his last moments of farewell, when his twin brother is also a combatant in uniform, is hugging him, crying, refuses to say goodbye. From here, the Knesset, I talk to you, the citizens of Israel. I talk to the families of the abducted, of the hostages, those who are in a complete darkness. I talk to the inhabitants of the south and to the people evacuated all over the country. I talk to the ones injured in body and soul. For years, for days, for months, they'll have to be rehabilitated. I talk to you, combatants of the IDF, the police, the Shabak, and the security forces who are sacrificing themselves for us, and the family members who are worried and supportive, and the forces of medicine and emergency. We love you. We salute you. I talk to you, the inhabitants of the north, that again show their resilience and their strength. I talk to you, the brothers and sisters who feel so angry and looking for answers. I talk to the entire Israeli society, the Jews and the Arabs who show these days responsibility and resilience. I talk to the entire Jewish people, both in Israel and in diaspora. A whole country is bereaved. A whole country is grieving. On the young people, their heroism, the Yizkor words that we know from the poet Katzenelson, whose name is upon the Kibbutz Be'eri, who lost so many of its members. The vicious attacks of our enemies was against the Jewish people, but they did not distinguish between blood and blood. There's almost no home in Israel that the painful tragedy did not reach. Families and communities who were badly hit, and this is the Israeli mosaics, which is so beautiful yet so sad. One human texture of Jews, Muslims, Christians, Druze and Cherkess, from kibbutzim, from cities, religious, secular, traditional, secular citizens of Israel and other countries who fell in the hands of the enemy when they were on their way to the synagogue, or at home, or in the military base, or in a happy dancing party. This shows that we are all one people. Very few are the minutes in the history of a nation when so much is at risk, but when they come, they bring with them the main heroes. We are now facing the tragedy, bereaved, yet we are full of pride for the wonderful people of Israel, because against this attack, the Israeli people rose in its glory. It's here, all over. The citizens, the guards, soldiers, and police people who, with an unprecedented heroism, fought against. They saved lives and they sacrificed life. All came together. They all fought down to the last bullet, the last breath. And we are still fighting. But their heroism didn't stop there. The Israeli people rose and fought in the emergency and the savings headquarters and the municipalities who showed resilience, and the welfare people and the mental health people, the Israeli people and the Jewish people from all over the world started volunteering and showing love and brotherhood. This is without words. Now this unity is uniting all of us. This amazing people of Israel, our people, rose with pride, with common responsibility. We have a wonderful people, just like that. People with an endless feel for life, because we know there is no other choice. We have no other country, no other state. This is a people who declares you will not be able to defeat us. We are the people of eternity, and we shall prevail. Everybody is talking about complexity, but this minute is not a complex minute. There is a complete good and complete evil. There's light and darkness. The entire people is standing behind the forces of light, the IDF and our security forces, while they are guarding our country and sacrificing their life in order to do away with the total evil with the help of God. We are not alone in this war. We are fighting the war of the family of nations, all the people who look for justice and peace and freedom against the enemy who showed that humanity is their enemy. We thank profusely to our allies all over the world, headed by the United States and headed by Joe Biden, a real lover of Israel, and the Congress, and both parties, for an incredible support and resilient stand in the right side of history. Members of Knesset, very few are the words in the history of a nation where so much is at risk. But when they come, they also carry a huge responsibility. The wonderful people of Israel has justified requirements and expectations. Expectations from us, the leaders, expectations from this Knesset. And I'm saying it simply, we cannot get out of this war the way we went in. It's true politically, it's true security-wise, and it's true in the inward Israel. This is a definite duty for clarifications, for interrogations, to lessons to be learned. There's no question about that. This is an existential necessity for any country that went through such a disaster, but it cannot jeopardize our war efforts. The expectations of the people do not end with that. Among many in the Israeli public, there is frustration, pain, anger, lack of trust, and the country has to respond to that. The state has to align with the standards that our wonderful people are waiting for in this hour. The people are looking for responsibility and restoration of the trust and the communities and the families and rehabilitation of all those whose world fell apart. It wants to be listened to, even if it's angry, and the trauma and the loss and the feeling of neglect. It wants a hand extended. It demands togetherness. Even now, in the midst of the war, we didn't even finish burying our dead. I hear dangerous voices that are going strong, who take an entire state back to the precipice and start to sowing seeds of of separation. This cannot happen. It should not happen. Our enemies are waiting for any polarization among us. It's part of their strategic plan. And therefore, we have a great role in the critical importance to keep us all together. This Knesset has to reflect the feeling of unity of this people, to know that there are bigger things than controversies at this time. My brothers and sisters, very few are the minutes in the history of a nation where so much is at risk, and we are in the midst of this event. From this moment on, we have to grow. As it was said, this is a time of peril to the people of Israel, but this dark minute has to turn into our most beautiful hour, as somebody said already before. If there's a nation that can grow out of the doom, it is us. We are going to prevail, and we will show that the wheat can grow again and again. We are going to prevail, and will show that the South can be protected and prosperous. We will prevail, and we will show that we can overcome any hell and make it back into paradise. We are going to prevail, and instead of every house that was demolished, we shall build. We shall prevail, and we shall do it together. Thank you, Mr. President, and I now call upon the Prime Minister Netanyahu to address us. President of the state, the Speaker of the Knesset, Deputy Chief Justice, the head of the opposition, members of Knesset, citizens of Israel, my brothers and sisters. Even after 75 years for the establishment of the State of Israel, the war of liberation has not ended. The establishment of the state was a one-time event, but the campaign to maintain it is continuing without stopping. This is the hour to stand erect against barbarous forces of destruction and murder. This is a time of a determined struggle against those who are trying to demolish us. Our target is victory, complete victory over the Hamas, toppling its governance and its threat on Israel once and for all. The conditions for victory is unity and resilience. The people are united. The army is united, and the leadership of the state is united in the national emergency government that we established, and it's good that we did. I also want to thank the members of the Knesset in the coalition and the opposition who support the war effort. You are also acting in various ways in order to help the families and the volunteers and every single citizen. May you be blessed for that. And I also congratulate the citizens of Israel, Jews and non-Jews, who are united in their goal, in their tenacity, in heroism. In this national campaign, we are all together. This campaign, all Israel are responsible for one another. Members of Knesset, there are questions, many questions about the disaster that befell us. We're going to investigate all of it. We already started drawing lessons, but now we are focusing on one goal, and that is to unite our forces and to storm ahead to the victory. And for that we need resilience, and we need determination, because victory will take time. There will be harsh moments, there will be hurdles, sacrifice is required, but we shall prevail, because we're talking about a mere existence in this area where there are many dark forces. Hamas is part of the evil axis of Iran, Hezbollah, and their proxies. Their wish is to destroy the state of Israel and to murder all of us. They want to bring back the Middle East to the barbarous precipices of the Middle Ages, but we want to pull the Middle East ahead to the advancement of the 21st century. This is a struggle between the sons of light and the sons of darkness, between humanity and barbarism. We saw it in the atrocious acts of these murderers in the kibbutz, Be'eri and Kfar Aza, in all the villages of the Gaza envelope, of these young people in the party, in the dancing party in Re'im. Many people in the world now realize what Israel is facing. They realize that Hamas is ISIS. They understand that Hamas is a new version of Nazism, and as the world united in order to defeat the Nazis and ISIS, so it should do in order to defeat Hamas. And I say to our friends in the enlightened world, our war is your war as well. Unless we face together one front, it's going to reach you as well. And I have a message also to the Hezbollah. Don't test us in the north. Don't repeat the mistake you once made, because today the price you're going to pay is going to be much, much heavier. President Biden said in English, don't do it. And I say to you the same in Hebrew. Beware. The state of Israel appreciates the support of President Biden and the American people, and also additional countries like Britain, Germany, France, Italy, and many other countries. Members of Knesset, we are preparing to the continuous war in the south, and we're also ready in the north. We are acting to protect our citizens in their home front. Help and support. We are all united behind the IDF, all of us. And it has to be reflected in deeds and in words. And it shouldn't be reflected in words that shouldn't be said. We are united behind our soldiers, our combatants, all the security forces and the medicine. In the heart of our courageous combatants, I met them, and you met them as well. In their heart, the spirit of battle is beating. Our combatants are ready for the continuous war, and there will be such until the complete defeat of our enemies. Members of Knesset, I met yesterday with the representatives of the families of the hostages. I embraced them. We spoke heart to heart. I listened with huge pain to the stories of their beloved ones. I heard about the shattering recording, more than one. Mommy, please save me. And then it was disconnected. We are committed to all their families. We don't stop any effort in order to bring them back, our brothers and sisters, people, men, women, children, babies, all those who were abducted by these satanic people. The atrocity cannot be even described. I was in a house yesterday in one of the villages. The murderers butchered in the first floor, and there was an attic, a hidden attic. The terrorists, the murderers, found this attic They came in and they massacred the children that the parents hid there. And you just can imagine, and I'm imagining what these children were thinking in those moments when they saw these Nazis reaching them. What was in their mind in their last minutes? Our hearts is with the families of the deceased, of the missing, of the injured. The pain is so huge. The bigger the atrocity, so is the heroism. Members of Knesset, citizens, throughout our history, there were endless attempts to destroy us. When we were defenseless, we paid prices that no other nation in the world ever paid. Also, in the generations after the establishment of the State of Israel, new perpetrators rose, wanted to destroy us. The difference is that today we have a strong state, a strong army, a strong people, and a strong capability to fight back. This is what we're going to do this time as well. We waged war and we're going to win it. And we're not going to stop until the victory. Thank you, Prime Minister. And now I call upon the head of opposition, Yair Lapid. Speaker of the Knesset, the President, Chief Justice, Prime Minister. I visited yesterday the survivors of the kibbutz, and I met Yaeli. Her name is like my daughter. She's 13, small, frail, with long curls. They killed her best friend. And what do you say to a 13-year-old girl who already saw close the essence of human evil? Just on the way back to the north, I realized what I should have told her. I should have told her that my father was exactly her age when he was in the Holocaust. They murdered his father. They murdered most his classmates, and nevertheless, he grew to be a very happy man who ate a lot and smiled a lot and laughed a lot. And his answer to death was that he really swallowed life. Some of you knew him, of course, Mr. President, of course, because people go back to life. Even from the abyss, from the worst situation, you go with pain and anger. It takes time. You don't always know where to take the forces from, but you do come back. Yaeli is part of the great Israeli narrative that says that pain is part of life. You cannot escape it, but it's not all our life. Yesterday, the printing of plants in the kibbutz was opened. There are no inhabitants there, only burnt houses and blood. But 30 employees went there with the military escort, and the heavy printers started reproducing again credit cards and greeting cards, like a heart that stopped beating but started again after a blow of electricity. In the last few days, we all say the same, that we're going to continue until the victory, all of us together to the victory. But there's only one question we have to ask ourselves. How does this victory look like? What does it mean? How will our life look after we prevail? The victory has the self-evident that we all know and we're all partners to. We are going to eradicate the Hamas completely. This long-time mistake will not repeat itself. You cannot live side by side of a murderous terrorist organization. There's only one way it can end. We are going to bring back our hostages, and there will be no Hamas in Gaza. It's going to take time. It's going to necessitate us to use a lot of force. If the world doesn't like it, well, it won't like it. The children of the world were not murdered. It's our children who were murdered. And Yaeli's best friend was also murdered. We have to make sure that this threat will never hover over her head, and we will not stop until we verify it. But this is not the victory. This is just the way to the victory. The real victory is not what's going to happen to the enemy, but what's going to happen to us. The real victory is in the question, how are we going to get out of it? For 10 days, Israelis are saying to one another, after what happened, we will not be the same country. And I agree. I just want to remind all of us, it depends on us what kind of a country we will be. The Israeli system collapsed because it detached itself from its value DNA. Israel always said to the world, we are the only democracy in the Middle East, and we are the strongest country. But we just forgot that these two things are not detached from one another. It's a reason and a result. We are strong because we are a Jewish and democratic state. We are technological and we're creative more than the enemies, because these are forces that can grow only in a free and open society. We are a story of success, economics and army, because there's equality and rule of law. Our strength is that we don't understand only strength, we only understand more than that. The events of October 7 are a memory, that the fact that it's not the force that is here, but the people who live behind it. The fact that we believe in our ideas, values of the Declaration of Independence and the vision of our prophets. Last night, I went back from Sderot, and I had a long talk with Hadar. She's 19 and a half. She is a viewer on the base there, and she told me what happened about the attack and how they ran into the shelter. And while she was treating the injured, she also directed the helicopter to go to the right place. She also told us how she hid in a cabinet until the soldiers came to take it away. And when they took them out, she saw a very good friend, a soldier, just lying there dead. How am I going to get out of it now? She said. She asked, how am I going to continue? And I said to her, there's one freedom. There's one freedom that no one will ever be able to take away from you. No terrorist. No one can take from her the freedom to choose according to what values she wants to live. If you want to live and to be a good and honest and happy person, a loving person, this is your choice, only yours. It's not in their control, and they cannot take it away from you.